its 5-year history, the Emily Awards have been sharing top beauty products with beauty enthusiasts around the world. This year we take you inside the testing process.
Suck it up over there.
Wait, lashgasm? Is that a technical term? Did you save 15% or more on this shadow insurance?
What? Don't stop the party!
Alright, I think I got it finished up. I guess just, here's the list, just shoot the video and you're good.
Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of the Emily Awards. This is all about eyes. I'm super pumped for this because I feel like of all the categories of makeup, in terms of trying new things, I feel like eyes are probably the things that I've tried the most of this year in terms of brand new products. And in this video, I'm so excited because you've got some things that still, even as I've tried more and more, continue to win. And so that's kind of reaffirming to see that like I continue to like an old favorite even after all this time. Then I've also got some great like kind of upset underdog products that I'm thinking, why aren't people talking about these more? So those are the ones I think I'm really excited to tell you about in this video. Alright, eye primer, high end. This is a 4-time winner. I'm giving it again to Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and I feel like more and more high-end brands are packing, you know, either a small size or even a full size eye primer in with some of their palettes. So I feel like I've tried quite a few this year, but I keep coming back to this one because I feel like it truly does have an impact on staying power of the shadow, for sure. I mean, this is not like a pointless application to put on eye primer. I put it on every time I apply eye makeup, and I feel like it extends the wear of the eyeshadow. Also, this doesn't feel thick or heavy on the eyes, so if you want to put it on underneath another cream product or you really got some layering going on, this is virtually weightless on the eye, and it boosts the color payoff that you have, but it also improves staying power. So like I said, that's huge for an eye primer. For my drugstore winner, it's a 2-time winner. It's NYX HD eyeshadow base. I don't have it physically in my hand to show you, so just kind of picture it here. But I was getting rid of stuff that I was running out of, and so that one I just kind of tossed, like, oh, I'm out of that, and kind of forgot that it would be involved in the Emily Awards. But that's a great low-cost eyeshadow primer. It kind of neutralizes the color of your lid, so if you've got redness and you want a base that's more like a little bit corrected. My high-end favorite is still a back-to-back winner, so this won last year, and it's the Mally Evercolor Shadow Sticks. These are my preferred format for a cream shadow because they are absolutely long wearing. Like, you can put these on, rub on them, do whatever you want. They will still be there at the end of the day. No need to top it with an eyeshadow. So hardcore staying power, but also they're in a stick where it's not too terribly wide, so you can go under your eye for smoky liner. And if it lasts all day, why the heck not, right? But you don't have to sharpen it. So a couple of shades that I think would fit well into anyone's collection are Saddle Shimmer, which is a really great neutral. And I also love Champagne because it is that great color that looks pretty all over the lid or right around the inner corner for some brightening. Gorgeous. They go nowhere. Like, so long wearing. From the drugstore, we have another repeat. I promise there's going to be some new winners here, but right now, I mean, it's the Maybelline Color Tattoos. I wish these were in sticks just like those that I showed you, but they're in little pots like this. And they've come out with new colors and new collections here and there. I love this shade called Bad to the Bronze. Just a nice kind of neutral color, but they're all the same kind of staying power. You put them on, they don't budge, and again, you don't have to top these with an eyeshadow to make them work or make them last for you. But I do have a new one to point out that I don't feel like I've been hearing anybody talk about, and these have that amazing staying power. I wish they were in a retractable stick that you didn't have to sharpen, but it's the Milani Shadow Eyes. There's a great one called Champagne Toast, and so that's going to be just your traditional light shimmery shade. Green Safari is beautiful. I mean, with the color of the year being that pretty emerald green, if you're wanting a green eye, this can give you that and last completely all day, all night, like until you take it off. small high-end palette. This isn't like a trio or even a quad. It's got 8 shades in it, but it is still kind of small. So, I mean, it's really my favorite that I've tried here, and I got this at the tail end of the year, and I love this eyeshadow formula. And it's Bare Minerals. It's the Ready eyeshadow. Ooh, it's really mirrored in the finer things, and I just really like the configuration of colors here. I mean, it's a fantastic formula, but I also just love what they chose to put in because, oops, you can get a really, really dark, pretty smoky eye. It's gorgeous mid-tone shade, but then some different shades in here to brighten it up, like this blue and kind of this olivey, really light olivey golden green. So compact. It's amazing for travel. You do get a nice mirror in there too. So looking at all those things when it comes to a great palette, and I think this is a nice, small, high-end one to try. For drugstore small palette, I have several to tell you about. One is a repeat winner, and it's really the one that comes to mind when I think smoky eye because it's so small. It's like so efficient. It's called the Silent Treatment, and this is amazingly inexpensive. The colors are so saturated and lovely. I mean, just beautiful shades, but it doesn't take much when you use them. So you've got your great dark color. It's like a super deep brown with a little bit of sparkle, a great taupe, and then this really light peach shade, which gives you that highlight without looking like the dated, like super white frosty highlight. It's just perfect because it's got a little bit of like skin tone in. My other favorite for a drugstore small palette, and I really like the whole range of these shades. I think the formula is great. There's so many gorgeous options, but I'm going to go with the Maybelline Eye Studio Quad in Coral Oasis because this is a really good representation of how these colors pop. This coral is gorgeous. There's a really pretty like spring green. It's a formula that I compare to the Lancome Color Design eyeshadows. It really, they perform the same way. They go on with the same texture. So I love these and I would highly recommend them. First one I'm going to mention is from the Balm, and it is the Rockstar palette. It's called Balm Jovi. It is amazing. I'm wearing this palette on my eyes today. This is kind of what I'm after. A palette that is largely neutral, but it still gives you some fun shades to throw in there. Like, I love the maroon, the olive green, the navy blue. 4 straight up 100% matte shades that are all like must-haves, like your light brown, your cream, dark brown, plum. I mean, I'm incorporating so much of this. I've got like the plum and the Alice Copper, the coppery color. I even use the blush, not to mention, and this is not about being a face palette, but you do get like 2 amazing bonuses here with a fantastic Mary Luminizer highlight and this gorgeous blush, which is Frat Boy. And I've talked about how much I love the Balm blushes. So I've got the blush on, I've got the eyeshadows on, you get a couple lip products there as well. So a lot is in this, but I primarily think of it as being an eye palette for all these shadows. Creamy in texture, wonderful staying power, but bottom line, for this to be a favorite palette, I love the way it's put together. I love what they chose to include. It's also just really cute packaging wise. It's compact. I also want to mention a palette that I know has been super popular in the online beauty community, but I think it is really worth mentioning. It's the Lorac Pro palette. The reasons why they've nailed this is that they stuck with shades that people want to wear. Like, you feel like you look at this and you could wear any of these. Then they gave you half matte and half shimmer. So the options, even though these seem like all really kind of neutral wearable shades, the options you can get with this palette are so, I mean, a number. The ability to pop a look with like this gold shade or this pretty garnet and then have, you know, deep matte colors to anchor the look is really important. These can have a little fallout. I don't love the formula as much as I love the Balm, but they're still amazingly rich. So they come off with a lot of color when you do get them on your eye. Just tap off the excess when you get your brush in these shadows, which I pretty much do with anything just in habit, but just a really well thought out palette. And when you get this, you feel like you have every neutral you need, so that's great. Large palette from the drugstore. I hope you accept what I'm gonna talk about here because I don't find this in the drugstore, and it's not just one single palette. It's something you can put together, and it's a line of shadows that I've just been so impressed with this year. And it's from Inglot, and a lot of people told me, you gotta try these. And this is awesome because I created this palette, I put these shades together, chose them, and I did write about these on my blog, so I'll link to the post that explains, but matte shades, sparkly shades, shimmery shades, They feel like velvet, and the price is relatively low. I mean, per shadow, it's not like it's high-end prices here. And you can put together like a really small palette, something like this, or something even bigger. So I know you can put the palette together however you want. It doesn't just come as one palette, but for the fact that you have the ability to do that, and the shadows are so good, and they're at a low price, I really wanted to give that a mention. Okay, overall shadows. So here we're not just talking about one palette, but maybe looking at all of the kinds of shadows in a certain line of makeup and what has just the best quality. For high-end, it's a new winner this year. It's the Balm. I feel like I've just tried a lot of what they've had to offer, from the Shady Lady palettes to the Nude Tude, which I think is just, it was just on the verge of getting a mention for best palette. I love that so much. We mentioned the Rockstar palette, brand new Meet Matte Nude. In all of these and more that I'm showing you right now, the shadow quality is one that feels almost creamy. Like it hangs together, and when you put it on your lid, it pops with little effort, without a lot of blending, without a lot of, you know, messing around. It just looks beautiful. Like, I love the eye look I have now. The eye look I had when I did this Meet Matte Nude video, I got tons of comments on that. I rarely feel like I have to worry about fallout with these shadows, like, you know, little specks coming down on my cheek or anything like that. They just perform so well. I'm not messing around here. These are, they're called the Balm. They are the Balm. And if you're watching the deals on Haute Look, I mean, you can get some of these at an amazing deal, like at a fraction of the regular price. So definitely worth your time, worth your money for sure. For overall shadow from the drugstore, and yes, I have tried so much, but this is a 3-time winner, and it's Wet n Wild, the Color Icon shadows. So you're gonna see them in palettes of 8 like this. You're gonna see them in trios like this. I would pay double the price. These are like $5. These are right around $3. It's amazing. My only complaint, if there is one, is, and I think I said this last year, is I wish they would come out with even more. I want like the freaking rainbow in these shadows, because they are so inexpensive, so readily available. You go to your drugstore, you go to Walmart, you can find this stuff. They have a little fallout, kind of like I mentioned with the Lorac, you know, tap off the excess, but you have so much pigment with these. The value in a shadow like this, it's going to cost you $5. You're not going to go through it quickly because it takes so little when you use it. Our eyelids are only so big, you know, and it just does not take that much product to make this go. It's not one of those shadows you scrub on. It's like, okay, gosh, when will the color start showing? No, the color will show up immediately. You are missing out if you have not yet tried Wet n Wild Color Icon shadows. For eyeliner pencil for high-end, this is a 2-time winner, and it's the Mally Evercolor Automatic Eyeliners. They also have a new formula, I think it's called Ultimate, and they're white, but they perform like the same staying power, maybe a little bit creamier, but this is what I have the most of, and I'm still using up. And like, I've got black navy, I've got brown, I've got green. There's a wonderful range of colors. You don't have to sharpen these. They go on smoothly. They last amazingly like none other in the waterline. So if I have to put something in my waterline and I know I really want to not have to worry about this the entire day, these are where it's at. I also want to mention, and I don't know if we call this an eyeliner or what, it's an inner rim brightener, and I discovered this thanks to Brunette Beauty Blogger here on YouTube, but it's the Tarte Emphasize, and you know, it's like an eyeliner, but you just put it in the inner rim. I'm not wearing it today since I lined my inner rim, but this has got to be the smoothest, easiest to apply thing to the inner rim, and you'll notice instead of being white, it's like just a little bit peachy. If you feel like you look tired all the time, something like this, it glides on. You don't want to have to try hard to put something on that sensitive, you know, inner rim. This goes on super smooth, like one swipe and it's there. So glad I picked that up, and it really is long wearing. Eyeliner pencil from the drugstore. First part of this you've heard about before. It's the Master Drama from Maybelline. I apparently have a real problem with sharpening things. I just don't like to take the time to get out the sharpener. I also don't like the little rough bits of wood that sometimes don't get sharpened perfectly and then they come near your eye. I'm just not into that. So I love this for the fact that you're not sharpening it. It is really long wearing. Classic black. This doesn't come in a lot of shades. That's my only complaint, but for pure, really dark, saturated black that really, really lasts, and it goes on really smooth. This is like the technology of the high-end, long-wearing eyeliners in a drugstore form for a drugstore price. Something new. And this is one of those things I'm like, why aren't people talking about these more? These liners from Physicians Formula are so good, and they come in trios. I think this said brown eyes, but you know, get whatever colors appeal to you, but you get 3. And so I've got like a black, a purple, and a brown. See that little purple band on the black? That means it has just like the slightest bit of a purple shimmer. It's really hard to detect unless you do like a big swatch, but overall it's black, and I'm wearing that as my liner today and in the waterline, and these are such long-wearing creamy eyeliners. The shade range is so awesome. Like this purple is really purple, and there are so many other colors, like sets that you can get. Liquid liner, didn't have a high-end favorite, but from the drugstore. This is a new winner this year, and it's the Wet n Wild Mega Liner. It's just so inexpensive, and it works so well. This is not waterproof, just so you know. If you needed waterproof, this isn't, but it is a bold black eyeliner. I love putting this on, like if I'm going to do false lashes, because you get that blackest black line across your lash line, and then bam, your lashes go on top, and it's just beautiful. It has kind of like a super fine brush tip, so I think it's really easy to get on and maneuver. Cream/gel eyeliner for high-end. This is a 3-time winner, and I have branched out and tried some other brands, and I was really unimpressed by how much they dried out so quickly. But MAC Fluid Line, I really enjoy this stuff. I've had this particular one for at least a couple of years. It is still not dry. It goes on with as much ease as when I first got it, with like a little liner brush, and it's really long wearing, so props to that. For my drugstore winner, it's a new favorite. It goes on every bit as smooth as the liner from MAC that I just described. Comes in so many shades. It's, again, Physicians Formula with these shimmer strips. These are the cream gel liners. They come like little blocks, you know, so you come in a set of 3 and then you can separate them, but you get several shades. So this one that I have is like a brown, a purple, and a black. And then I also ended up with this neutral one that I've been playing with a lot lately. It's Glam Brown Eyes, and it gives you a black, like a medium brown, and a gold, and these can double as great like long wear shadows, but these don't budge. You know, you put them on, they go on so creamy. I know I've had this one for quite some time, and it's still just as creamy. And think if you like really started collecting like the kind of tower you could build with this, I mean, it would be awesome. You know when I said I tried a lot of products this year, mascaras were one of those things where I felt like I was just trying a new mascara all the time. And you know what? The high-end winner is the same winner from last year. So it was kind of like you search and search for the next amazing thing, but then you go back to the old but goodie. And it's Mally Volumizing Mascara. This is a mascara that is so rich and black. It manages to take my sparse lashes and build them up, not just in length, but in volume and the look of more lashes. And when you put this on, it doesn't take your lashes and make them feel like brittle little spider legs or something. They actually maintain their flexibility as if, you know, there might be a real eyelash in there. But this is the brush. The brush is awesome. It's a traditional brush with kind of thick black bristles. Felt like it's never prematurely dried out or, you know, gotten old before that 3 to 4 month time frame. Drugstore mascara. You want to know about my all-star drugstore lash look? It would involve Almay Get Up and Grow. This is a great texture of a mascara, a phenomenal thick brush, and a formula that's not too wet. It's kind of like a really creamy thick formula, and it builds up sparse lashes great. I recommended this to many. Many have said they love it. When I wear this on top, and then I use my Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom. Tiny brush. I don't know why this has not gotten mentioned in Emily Awards, because this has been like, no matter what's going on my top lashes, this is always getting worn on the bottom, and it's a teeny tiny brush. Gives you just the right look you want on lower lashes. Doesn't overload them with product. Very easy to use, like 2 swipes and you're done kind of thing. So love those two together as a look. So I wanted to give a shout out to something that I've come back to in the past year, and it was something I used all the time back in college, and it is L'Oreal Double Extend. It's got the primer in one end and the mascara in the other. It's got that brush that I like. Doesn't that look a heck of a lot like Mally's? But when you put that primer on with this, the length is amazing. If you're looking for just something to give your lashes incredible length, this is going to take you there. A lash primer is a really good thing, and this is a really nice primer that's built in here. False lashes. The lash of the year for me has been the Demi Wispies. I believe Ardell makes them, but I normally buy them from Salon Perfect in like a 4 or a 5 pack from Walmart, and I've got them on now. They are the kind of lashes that flare a bit out at the ends and just give you kind of like a cat eye. Like you just pop them on, and regardless of the shadow or the liner you're wearing, you have a cat eye. I'm on my last pair here, so I don't have one to hold up and show you. It's a variety of lengths, and some of them kind of crisscross a little bit, and it's just perfect for looking more natural among your own lashes. Wrapping it up with the brows, and I'll tell you what I used on my brows today and what I've been using, and I think it works so neat, and it's such a cool little just self-contained system. But it's from Anastasia. Is that how you say it? Not Anastasia. Anyway, gosh, I've been talking so long. This is the Beauty Express for brows and eyes. I have it in brunette, and what's neat about this is, okay, you got all your instructions here, you got your little brush, you've got multiple stencils here. So if you're just looking to like form your brows for the first time, you can go through and you use the stencil and you apply the wax and the powder, and then you can pluck your brows like whatever is outside the stencil, you tweeze them, and then you don't have to keep using the stencil every day. I mean, you could, but what I did was I just used the stencil once, and mine happened to be the high arch. So I used that and got him just the shape I wanted. And now when I go in and do my brows, I just do some wax, and then I take, it's the lighter of the two is what I put in, and then just kind of fill in any sparse areas. What's really important to note with this is this works very well if you might have a scar or a bare area where you feel like a typical pencil just does not draw over it. I know that sounds weird, but I'm sure there's people who know what I'm talking about here. It's like the pencil won't write on those areas. I have a scar right on the end here, and I do struggle with filling that in, but this wax and these powders just go on over it like it was any other area. This is just the perfect color here for me. And then you get a couple of shadows where you could like brighten your inner corner or under the brow if you wanted to. And this angled brush, I've got the little cap thingy on there, but that's a really nice brush as well. Now from the drugstore, something that I love that doesn't give you all that shaping stuff, but it does give you like a wax and a powder, which is kind of cool, is the e.l.f. eyebrow kit for $3. If you are just kind of like, well, I like what you're talking about there, but I don't quite want to go there with the price, this gives you a wax, and this is like a tinted wax. So this is medium that I have here. You have a little brush, and yes, I use that brush. It's like a little angled one there, and then a little like kind of flat eyeshadow type brush. So you put on this wax, and it kind of helps, it sort of tints the area a little bit. And then you got the powder, which is kind of like the one that I mentioned loving in the other one, but you put it on top and you fill in those areas, and so this is kind of a nice little smaller on the go type thing, but I love both of those kits. So that's it for eyes. As you can see, we had returning favorites, we had some brand new things coming in. Bottom line, I have tried a lot of eye products, so I am glad to have some closure on this now and be able to share all those favorites with you. Next video is going to be Emily Awards for Lips, so I hope to see you again in that video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.